Hi everyone and welcome to episode 005 of The Road to the Checkered Bastard, the Warp training series following the 2026 Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival. As part of our discussions with Bunbury Runners Club last year during the planning phase for Three Waters 26, we agreed to aid the club in sourcing paces for the marathon, which would be a first for the event, and today I'm very excited to catch up with most of them this evening. Many of the names will be familiar to listeners of the podcast, but this will be a very good opportunity to learn more about these weapons, what makes them tick, and what they're most looking forward to on race day on April 12, which is just 13 days from right now at the time of recording. This might be the biggest group that we've had on the podcast thus far, and fully appreciate things might get a little bit loose, so I'll get stuck straight into it. Leading us from the front, driving the 3-hour bus with me in tow, we have the boy from Mount Barker who specialises in the long, very long stuff. He is the winner of the Delirious West 100 miler in 2025, setting the course record in 20 hours and 57 minutes, and has featured on podiums all over the southwest over the past few years. Despite what he says, he's no slouch on the roads either, with a marathon PB of 2:39 and second place at Bustleton Bay Run last year. Joel Gray, welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
I mentioned to you when I saw you at Transcend last year, we wanted to get you on the podcast, and this is maybe not the way we were thinking about doing it, but very glad to have you. Hey, touching on Delirious West last year, course record there, which is massive in the 100 miler. How, in terms of a race experience, how was that for you?
Training wise, got pretty intense. Just long run after long run, trying to get a bit more elevation in, and there's a fair bit of sand there, so trying to manage all that. But then I guess organising it was probably even harder than that. Luckily, my coach Adrian did a lot of all that background stuff for me. All the aid station work and everything was pretty much put together by him, and then just having to run it, I guess, was the next hardest thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, nearly 21 hours on foot is hard work. Were there any moments in there that you had maybe doubted yourself?
Well, probably early on. The first few hours are always the hardest of any race when you start going pretty long, just mentally, getting in that rhythm of running, and you've still got so far to go. I did a lot of it with Macca and Oki in the early hours, and then when it gets to like 1 o'clock in the morning, the running gets pretty hard on the beach. Just there's some pretty lonely times out there.
No, good stuff, mate. Well, very glad to have you on the podcast. I understand you're coming back from an injury. You were going to run Bustleton Bay Run this year, but unfortunately had to pull out. How's the body feeling?
I've been injured ever since Delirious. I did my shin and my knee, got a bit beaten up doing that, and then tried getting ready for Transcend and didn't fully recover, I guess. And then leading into the last few months, I've had Achilles problems and all that, and not doing busso. I really was keen, try and get a 2:35 there, and now finally, 8 weeks fit. Trying to do this 3 hours.
Yeah, well, mate, based on the run you did on the weekend, I'm very confident that the bus is in safe hands, especially if I shit the bed halfway through. So, we'll be all good. Next up, we have our first pacer for the 3:30 bus, another monster on the trails, completing the 2022 UTMB 100 miler in 38 hours, 26 minutes while breastfeeding a child. She is the unofficial fourth host of the WA Running Podcast, the Queen of Bustleton after her win at the marathon at 2:57 this February, and the star of last year's Three Waters Road to Lighthouse training series, Ashlee Ritson. Welcome back to the WA Running Podcast.
Thank you for having me back, even though I said I wouldn't ever be back again after last time. So thank you.
A few appearances in the last few months. You were on episode 1 of this series with Alice Luscombe. I understand she's had a tibial fracture, unfortunately. How are things tracking with Alice?
She is very excited to do the half marathon at 2027 at the Three Waters.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really good training block. Solid 12 months for that.
So I did listen to her chat at the Inspirational Runners Talk last week. We released that episode. Obviously very unfortunate for Alice, but probably a lesson for a lot of people who are getting into running and trying to run their first half marathon. excited for her to see what that comes. It would have been great to see her on the start line, but no doubt it seems like a bit of a risk to get out there with a grade 3 stress fracture. So,
It's probably not ideal. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, 'cause there's been a few people I know now that have just had these typical stresses in the last sort of like 9 to 12 months. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy if we just like blame the shoes or something like that, not just like the progressive loading that people are taking on board when they maybe aren't like conditioned for it. But we'll try and pick a few different things to blame it on.
Yeah, of course, naturally. Win at Bustleton Bay Run this year, which was very exciting. I think we've spoken to you about that before, but how have you been? Post that win, and have you got the hunger to run a little quicker later in the year or perhaps next year?
Yeah, definitely. A couple of weeks after that, I started thinking like, what's next? Because I didn't really plan anything before the marathon. I was just going to wait and see, how I pulled up for it and that sort of thing. And then I was like ready, like the following weekend, I think I messaged Josh and I was like, cool, I want to do a park run next weekend. And he was like, no, don't do anything I think it was, what was his saying was, for every mile in the marathon, you have a day of rest. So it was almost 28 days of relative rest. So I was just doing like easy running and some strides and that sort of thing. And then I think it was, about 28 days after bus, or maybe a bit longer actually, did the Darlington half, which was really cool because I had never done that race before. And I loved it because it was on trail, but it wasn't technical. And it's, that bit of uphill and the fast down. So that was a really fun race. And it was it's quite competitive. There was some good runners there as well. So that was pretty cool. And to see some of those guys that won that half marathon, they were just absolute monsters. It was really cool to see. And then I've got this itch now about the marathon. And so I've signed up for Bibra Lake in July. So marathon, or pretty much keep going, back training now, ready for Bibra Lake. And so the Three Waters just slots in there nicely.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. Any markers or times you're chasing there, or are you kind of just keeping it in the pocket until late in the piece?
Yeah, I'd love to get closer to 250, I guess, would be ideal. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's kind of what I'd like to do, I guess.
Nice. I think you're just finding your feet in this stuff and this road running stuff, so I think anything's possible. Excited to see what happens, Ash. Joining Ash, we have a very good friend of mine who is commonly referred to as Uncle by many in the WA Marathon Club circles, despite only pipping me by a year or two. As one who volunteers, you'll likely find him at club events throughout the year, be it as a traffic controller or pacing a half marathon or marathon, usually on the pointy end of things too. He leaves me for dead on the trails during our many long runs over the last couple of years. Audwin Lee, welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Day. Thank you, Chris, for having me on the pod.
Very, very happy, mate. Overdue, I'm sure. You and I have been running together now for a couple of years, and it's never ceases to amaze me how durable you are. Now, last year we paced the 3:15 bus at Perth Running Festival, mate. That was a bit of fun, don't you think?
That was probably one of the best pacing gigs I've done alongside you. That makes it extra special. We picked up a lot of serious runners in there. I had really good fun in the PRF 3:15 pace bus there.
Yeah, nice. And like me, you were injured earlier in the year after having already committed to this pacing job. How's the knee recovering, mate? I think things going pretty well based on how we've been running recently.
Yeah, I picked up the injury right after my holiday, so end of January. At that time, it was really hard for me to do anything because it was really painful for the first few days. But then it's improving now. I've seen a physio, unfortunately not in Bunbury because it's too far away. But yeah, I've been yeah. So in the past few months, 2 months now, I've been gradually ramping up my training. And I think at one point I have to say sorry, Chris, I can't do that silly mileage with you because you wanted to do 45K on the trail. And I said I wasn't ready yet. But I think that was a good decision not to follow you at that time, so I can recover. And then, training's been good so far. So I'm really happy where I am at the moment. My injury has slowly disappeared. It's not 100%, but I think I'm ready for this job.
Very good, mate. I mean, as far as paces goes, I'm not sure there's many who have probably done it as many times as you have. So, yeah, very safe hands, that 3:30 bus. Switching over to the 4-hour bus, we've got, on behalf of himself and Noah Simpson, the bloke I'm titling the head honcho of the 4-hour bus this year. He ran Sydney Marathon last year, breaking the 3-hour mark in 2:58. Astute listeners will remember his name from our Bunbury training series last year as the unofficial coach of steak sandwich disciple Jackson Lemon. Jake Beacock, welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Chris. He'll love that mention, Jackson will. Thanks for having me. These intros just make me realise I need a few more accolades, I suppose. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think the accolades tend to relate to how well I know people. So it's no disrespect, Jake.
I wasn't did podium at a trail race earlier in the year. I was expecting a message to come on, but I guess third doesn't quite cut it. Doesn't cut the mustard.
I'm sure you and Noah seem to have a few things planned over the next few months. So I'm sure there'll be an opportunity to chat all things Margaret River Ultra.
Oh, geez. Won't be on the podium there. I was actually going to ask Joel if that soft sand running ever gets easier because, it's an absolute killer. It's an absolute killer.
You need to have 20 mil of rain on it, and then it's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe I'll pray to the rain gods night before Margs then. Sounds
good. So, mate, breaking 3 hours is like a massive milestone for a lot of people, obviously. You did it at Sydney, no less. A pretty tough course. How was your run there last year? And, how long have you been chipping away at that goal?
Not too long, to be honest. I did October the year before, so that was August last year. Year before that, I did Melbourne. I ran 3:16. Took some time off, and then joined Matt's group Rams for a block there to try and hit that 3 hour mark. Everything just aligned on the day. Really, the Sydney day was beautiful. The weather was perfect. It's a bit of a hillier course. I can't remember what the vert was, but it might be in 250, 260 or something. So that was playing in the back of my mind a little bit. But I think I was in pretty good shape. I actually stopped to go to the toilet in that race as well. So I think I had a little bit left in me there, and the plan later in the year to try and better that. But didn't have a astute pacer like yourself on the 3 hour bus, Chris, fortunately. But it was a big pack. It was a big 3 hour pack, which basically I just tried to hang on to, and then subsequently catch back up to when I stopped for the toilet halfway.
Yeah, nice, mate. And that, I mean, obviously a massive occasion last year, being the first year as a major, would have been a pretty incredible. Would you say on the scale of Melbourne to, was it Melbourne you said you did versus Sydney? So, I mean, in terms of someone looking to run a marathon over East here in Australia, what would you recommend?
Yeah, I've actually only ever done marathons over East. This will be my first marathon in WA, actually. My first ever marathon I did in Newcastle. I actually can't remember. I was trying to look through my emails. The first one I ever signed up for was Bunbury years ago. That got cancelled for COVID, and then I pivoted last minute and got on a plane and went to Newcastle to do it. And then since then I've done Melbourne twice and Sydney. So, but Sydney's, it's incredible. It's a great course. It's if you don't mind a little bit of hills, I quite like that. Breaks up the monotony of it a bit. Melbourne's also really good though. So both of them. The weather was good in Sydney. Melbourne weather's always pretty spot on. That's why I probably avoided the Perth ones. I just would hate to train all year and then be 30 degrees in October or whatever they do the Perth one.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, yeah, maybe you could tell us a bit about Noah, mate. Seeing he's not here, you can say more or less whatever you like about him. So,
Yeah, Noah's he ran. He came to Sydney with me last year, so he ran 3:30 something there, but really off like no training. I think he'd done like 3 months in Europe backpacking before that, and partying, and then he came back and scrounged together a little bit of a block and had a good run at 3:30. He was actually, I think he was doing that well. He was texting my partner halfway through to get updates on how I was going. So
sure.
I feel like he left a little in the bag there. But yeah, he's a good runner. He's really fit at the moment. He came and did 8x K with me on Tuesday and was hanging on. So yeah, he'll be fine, and hopefully everyone in that 4-hour pack is in safe hands. He's due something, in that 3-hour range. If he committed, he just doesn't race. That's his problem. Too afraid to race.
Sounds like me, actually. Awesome, mate. No, thanks. Great to have you here. Great to have a chat. I'm sure we'll get stuck into a bit more in a moment. Now, on the 4:30 bus, this legend requires absolutely no introduction. She is the queen bee of the WA Running Podcast, and after recently running a PB of 25 yards at Hurdy's Backyard Ultra, she has promised both her partner and her coach that she is going to focus on running a sub 20-minute 5K. Yet here we are, pacing a 4.5-hour marathon. Vici Richardson, thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Nice to be here.
Thanks, Vici. I think probably when we realised that most of the people who had put their hand up for the marathon pacing gig were men, I think you might have been just in before Ash to try and represent the sisterhood. What made you, besides that, what made you put your hand up to run a 4.5-hour marathon for fun?
Well, yeah, I think we maybe jumped in at about the same time, but I think I was hopeful that I wouldn't be injured after Hurdy's, and it was wishful thinking that I would be capable of running any time for a marathon 4 weeks later. And here we are. I'm not injured. So miraculously, I didn't have to drop out, which I thought was a real possibility.
Mm. Do you think knowing in the back of your mind, knowing that you had to do this afterwards, do you think that made you stop at 25, or do you think, if this wasn't in the bag or in the pocket ready for later, maybe you might have pushed it even further and never know?
The people of the 4:30 bus at Bunbury might want me to say yes, it was all for this pacing gig, but actually no, it was just because I was ready to stop at 25. It wasn't this, but it was nice to not feel anything too badly wrong, and I was quite enjoying that. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead.
Yeah, no, good news. So how is the sub 20-minute 5K going?
I'll get there by the end of the year, which I say every year. No, I'm going to take a month easy running. So I'm off a plan at the moment. So I've got no pressure, and it's actually really nice. I went out on Saturday and ran Margaret River Park Run because I was down there. Got a course PB. So, it was a pretty decent time actually, considering I was two weeks after Hurdy's, so that felt quite good. So I am just gonna take it steady, run every other day for this week at least. We'll see what happens next week, because I like to probably do more than I should too quickly. Get in the gym. I've been back to the physio and got some advice about the various little niggles that I've had and been managing, so get all that sorted, and then I'll jump back on a plan. I was doing Gold Coast Marathon. I am not anymore, so I'm passing on my entry, and I'm gonna just focus on some shorter stuff and some fun stuff for now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 4:30 bus. I think it's going to be a fun one. I may well sing, so yeah, be a good day.
I'm sure we'll touch on that a little later. Now, joining you on that 4:30 bus will be the OG friend of the show, Warp guest back on episode 101 and key member of multiple run groups around Perth, including the Wolves Run Club. He's done it all from backyard ultras to Ironman, possibly the nicest bloke in WA running. Bryan Bourke, welcome back, mate.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, surprised you wanted me back on, but yeah, you guys always give me a big head, so it's always good to come back.
No, mate, you've been a supporter from day one, and yeah, we love having a chat at any opportunity we get. Hey, you were right beside Simon at Hurdy's there, and I got to see you in action for doing what you do best, and that is putting yourself in the pain cave. I saw a few buckets of noodles go down. There was definitely a pair of Boston 12s on through a few laps there. How are you recovering after Hurdy's?
I'm kind of same boat as Vici. Surprised to be still standing and still locked in for the marathon next weekend. Yeah, I mean, I hit the pain cave probably lap 15 and battled it through the 16th lap. Boston 12s are on. Just advice from the physio to keep them on. Had a little, it's called the FHL ligament. That was flaring up a few weeks beforehand, but got on top of that. But yeah, I mean, knees were screaming at me towards the end. But yeah, I've walked away relatively unscathed. So yeah, looking forward to next weekend.
Amazing, mate. Speaking of things to look forward to, I'm hoping, and I wouldn't advertise this as a. I don't necessarily support day drinking, but and I would advise everyone to drink responsibly. But I am looking forward to sharing a Jaeger with you on the finish line on the 12th of April.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well. I think Simon and I were supposed to have one after Hurdy's, but I guess we're just too wrecked. So yeah, next weekend it'll happen. Fantastic.
Well, I won't forget, I promise, and look forward to that finish line. Guys, let's get stuck into some questions. So what I'd love to hear is like our collective histories with the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival. I know a few of you haven't run it before, so to my knowledge, it's just myself, Ash, and Bryan who have run it previously in various capacities. Bryan, I'll start with you, mate. Like, what is it about Three Waters that you enjoyed so much when you had the opportunity to run it a few years ago?
Yeah, it was probably still one of my first events, to be honest. Like, I think it was second or third half marathon I'd run, so still pretty fresh. But yeah, getting down there and see all the locals just turn it on. Like, the volunteers are amazing. Had a chat with a couple of locals, and they were so encouraging. Like, I sat next to an older fella who was trying to break 100 minutes for the first time, so sat on his pace for a little bit, and then I think he might have just gone above that, but I dipped under, so I was pretty happy. But saw him at the end, and he was still pretty stoked. The course is great too. Like, you get a nice ocean view right at the start, and then when you come back around, I don't know, 10 k's or so in, it's quite refreshing. So it's yeah, great little town down there. So it's going to be good to go back.
Absolutely, and I guess no one knows the town better than Ash. I know we've had a couple of course changes this year. Ian enlightened me last week or the week before, but anything that we haven't covered on this podcast before about the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival that you'd like to share, Ash?
No, I don't think so. I ran basically the course last weekend just on the last long steady run, and it was cool because I was just taking it in thinking like it is actually a really well-designed course because there was a bit of wind and it didn't matter because, you just you run down the ocean, like you ran into it for a little bit and then you're down at the swamp and it's just so calm down there, come back out and you have some fresh air at the ocean again. And then around the backside around Koombana Bay, it was just so still. It was just beautiful. And then I've really took note of coming up the hill, up the Lighthouse Hill, because I run up there a couple of times a week usually, and you don't even consider it a hill when you're just out for a run. But that second lap of the marathon, it's for some reason, it's really hard to get up that hill. So I took note of how long it took and Audie's obviously he's the pro about pacing, but how much time do we allow for that that last 1 kilometre? I think we allow like an extra 2 minutes just in case to be safe, which I recommend to everyone. Just allow that little bit of extra time. But it's cool. It's a good course.
No, absolutely. Now, Joel, you've not done this race before, but you are from the regions, and so you've probably got a lot of experience with regional running events. what is it that makes like running in small towns like Ellicott, for example, like races like that, what makes them so special?
It gives me a better chance of trying to win it. That's why I try and chase out all the small towns. But no, all the volunteers and all that, you know most of them, and everyone running, you see so many of them out there that you just see in your normal day-to-day kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely love it. It's that's that small town charm a bit, and the community is so close, and so having that support on the sidelines is really special. And being able to go past the club twice effectively is obviously gives you that opportunity to create a bit more atmosphere in what is a relatively small place. One thing I will say about the course that maybe I haven't touched on before, and again, this is probably another dig at Perth Running Festival, so bear with me, but you don't have any prolonged stretches of road where you know you're going to be on that road for a good 30 minutes. You go up Ocean Drive, but then you're on the swamp, then you're back on Ocean Drive, but then you're going around the bay. And so there's always something new to offer at Bunbury, which I think is what keeps you interested and keeps you ticking. And once you've done it once, that first lap, you know what to expect that second lap. So it is a pretty special place.
Is the pace markers, Chris?
From memory, I mean, I'm going to have to... Ash, there is every 5Ks, or is it every kilometre? I can't remember.
No, I think it'd be every 5Ks. I'm not sure what it is towards the end there as well, but it'd be every 5.
Yeah. So I think already that's probably more pace markers than Perth has. So it will make the job easier for all of us, definitely. Being able to lap our watch at that 5K mark. And it is a certified course, so you're guaranteed to have that 42.2 kilometres. So, I don't know collectively what our, I guess the pair, the couples or the pairs that we'll call them, will have to kind of devise a strategy of how to, deal with that hill or deal with GPS errors. But maybe Joel and I. Joel went out on a 36-kilometre run on the weekend and absolutely slayed it. So I'm worried I'm going to be holding on for dear life.
If we're running at 4:10s, we've probably got a little bit fast, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I'll hopefully keep you in check, and you'll hopefully keep me alive. But I think we'll all put a plan together, I'm sure, in the days leading up. Audie, mate, what is it about the marathon that attracts you? I know you've done some pretty interesting things in the past, like you've done a Temu homemade marathon. I think you called it the Kmart marathon back in the day. You did like a marathon around Lake Munga once, all DIY stuff. And I think the total cost of the run for you was about $60, including your shoes. Tell us about that run and maybe Queenstown as your experiences with the marathon and why you love running the marathon so much.
Yeah, at that time, I was just trying to break the 3 hours, but I realized I was running out of options. Either I didn't register or I just couldn't bother registering. So I thought, I feel good on this day. So I thought 3 days before, let's do it. So just running for me is more of an adventure. It's not a competition for me. So I enjoy running as a stress relief to make me happy. So marathon for me, if I was a schoolboy, it's like an excursion. So I can go out for a few hours out there, having fun with some friends or by myself, enjoy the experience, enjoy the scenery. So that's what attracts me to long distance running, to enjoy the nature more and have fun. And then you touched on Queenstown. I did Queenstown Marathon in 2023, and by far that was the best official marathon experience that I've done. Not only the course, but also because I arrived in New Zealand about a week early, so by myself. So I had the whole week by myself. Go to explore a few different cities before I did the marathon. I did some stupid hikes on the hills in Christchurch and Dunedin a couple of days before the marathon, and then my legs were all cooked, but I enjoyed it. I wouldn't change it for any other way. So I had to take a day off before the marathon just to recover the legs. And then did the marathon. It was perfect weather. In the morning when I woke up, it was 1 degree. Celsius. Was it frosted windscreen at the front? I didn't know what to do with the windscreen. So I just opened the window, turned on the heater, and then I figured it out. And then went to the race. It was 5 degrees. I think by the time we got to the start line, and then by the time we finished, it was about 12, 13 degrees. So it was really, really cold weather, but it was really enjoyable. And then the thing I like about it is it was a one-way course. So you started from a town called Arrowtown, and then you finish in Queenstown. So it's one-way run. So if you stop in the middle, too bad, you got to find your own way back to the start or go to the finish line. But it was a really good experience with I think the course itself described itself as, I think, 60% or 30% trail and 60% or 70% road or something like that. So it's a mixture of trail and road, which was really a good experience to run.
Yeah, beauty, mate. Jake, mate, you've run a few marathons now by the sounds of it. What is it that keeps you coming back to that over, say, the shorter stuff?
I'm not sure, to be honest. The shorter stuff hurts more, I guess, in the moment. But I don't mind the shorter stuff either. I guess I did promise a few people I was done after Sydney last year, but like you mentioned before, my friend Jackson, he's gone for sub 3 down the line, so I've got to stay on my toes. I can't let him. Mainly, I just try and beat my friends, is the gist of it. And if I see people like that coming up, you got to make sure I'm keeping the foot on the gas and try and one up everyone. But no, it's I don't know. It's I like the running aspect. I'm one of them people. I like a goal, a long-term goal, and I feel like marathons are really good long-term goals because you sort of pick a date, like can be like the end of the year or whatever, and then give you something to work forward to all year round. And I feel like running, particularly, I've had a bunch of hobbies over the years, and running always feels one of the things like you sort of get back what you put in, and I feel like if you work hard and stay consistent, then you can, you reap the rewards, I guess. And marathons just seems to be the place to be. Seems what everyone's doing. No one cares about you other times.
No, exactly. Soon enough it'll be ultra marathons, and there won't be probably too many of us to be able to say that we've got one done under the belt. But Vici, and probably targeted at Bryan too, you guys are kind of backyard ultra veterans. So, I mean, are there any kind of learnings from that format that you can take across to the marathon, given that the marathon is a very kind of a big component of it is your mental side, and obviously doing a backyard ultra, that is absolutely the case. So, any learnings from that format that you take across to the marathon?
For me, probably this year at Hurdy's, the one thing that I think I got right was the pacing, and I think that's probably can apply to a marathon really well. I had a plan in mind, and I stuck to that plan, and I didn't know what pace I was going actually at all, but I felt the pace, and I just fell into this quite very comfortable pace that I knew was getting me around in the right time. So obviously with a marathon, I would definitely be looking at my watch. That's a bit different, but I think if you can kind of know what pace you're aiming for and practice that and dial it in, it's good to be able to feel it and not to have to keep checking and often reining yourself in is what happens in a marathon, or the first part of a marathon at least. For me, that from Hurdy's this year, that'd be what I would take to, or kind of think about if applying to the marathon.
True. How about yourself, Bryan?
Oh, well, definitely not a veteran of the backyard format after only doing one. But yeah, like you said, Vicky, I guess it's all comes down to pacing, and I guess anyone on our bus, I'd just tell them, enjoy it. Walk if you have to. Like, we've got plenty of time. And I guess, marathon, you need to nail that nutrition. So have a big breakfast to fuel yourself for the day. Fill your pockets with Sour Patch Kids, and I don't know, like a lot of people.
Jaegers.
Yeah, miniature Jaegers, just for break in case of emergency. But nah, I mean, I'm one of those people that likes to chat to people when I'm running, so hopefully it doesn't annoy too many people on our bus. But I mean, Vicky's going to be singing, I'll be chatting your ear off. So if you're going for a 4:30, maybe try and talk yourself into a 4:20 and get ahead of us. But yeah, just have fun.
I think that might happen. I reckon we're going to encourage so many people to just run ahead, because I will be particularly annoying.
You made a good point there, Bryan. I mean, at the end of the day, you train for these things, you work really hard, and you want to achieve a goal, and you have this thing in your mind, but ultimately have fun is probably the thing that sometimes people forget, and that is, that's what we're all here to do. So, enjoy yourselves while you're out there. Joel, mate, you said you only like running marathons because you're not quicker at anything else. Is there any truth in that, or like what is your I guess your background with running, and why did you choose the marathon or the longer distance stuff, if that goes like 4 times that,
Ever since I guess I was a kid, did a bit of athletics, and then went into cross country, and I really loved it at school, and I just always had a bit of a passion there for running. Kind of lost it in the later teenage years, and I don't know. I guess especially past the marathon, I've done a couple of backyards as well, and just it's all that mental game, and I love just being there with yourself and battling those demons that come up in it.
Yeah, big time. So it's all about is kind of putting your demons to bed, so to speak. At least temporarily.
Yeah, you need a longer race. You just
they'll come back. Don't worry. Yeah. No, very good. All right. Well, I guess obviously we're all here to pace a marathon, and we've all had varying experience doing that. Audie, you've been a member of the marathon club for a while now. What attracted you to pacing events over necessarily racing them?
Good question, actually. I mean, I don't like competition much, so I don't like to put myself into too much pressure. So when pacing is different feeling, there's pressure, but it's a different kind of pressure. Well, I'm still pushing myself hard to do the job that I need to deliver. But with pacing, in the end, I think the reward is see people coming up to you and then thanking you, and then people are very happy for achieving their goals. It's just a different kind of feeling when you see someone that you run alongside with being very happy, and then it just makes me happy as well, knowing that you've done your best to help these people. It's just a different feeling of different satisfaction.
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate to that massively, and having been a recipient of pacing jobs, like the opportunity to be able to do that for someone else is pretty special. So, kind of see where you're coming from.
I feel more pressure doing this than doing my own races.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Especially over the course of a marathon, it's a very long time, and regardless of how fit you are, I think the marathon has something to offer you, even if you might be able to run a 3-hour marathon, but if you're running a 4-hour or pacing a 4.5 hour marathon, you'll find out how hard a 4.5 hour marathon is. So,
the first time I tried to break 4, I would have been pretty annoyed if the paces had messed it up. That's for sure. And I think I was telling you, Chris, on Strava the other day, Noah and I did a run Tuesday, and watches. I had Chorus. He's got a gun with 5 seconds a kilometre off. So
wow,
it's not great. Not a good sign, but we'll calibrate them somehow. That's what I was asking about the pace markers, really.
Yeah. Well, no, they will be there, so you will have the opportunity to recalibrate every 5 kilometres, and then maybe you have to get the Casio out as a backup option.
Yeah,
If,
stopwatch.
yeah, that's it, mate. Hey, Bryan, you had a good experience pacing a mate of yours at Bustleton last year. So it doesn't always have to be an official pace job, but obviously contributing to a mate's outcome is always special.
Yeah, definitely. No, I love seeing my mates achieve their goals. Or strangers as well. It's pretty good feeling. Didn't quite break the 4-hour mark at Bustleton. Was his first marathon, so he did really well to do 4 hours and 8 minutes. And I mean, registering for Busso as your first is pretty ballsy as well with their 4.5 hour cutoff. So I don't know how much they enforce that, but no, it was a good experience, and yeah, really stoked just to be there when a mate got his debut under his belt. So
awesome, mate. And Ash, I'm surprised, or maybe I'm not surprised, when in the questionnaire you said to me that you don't actually enjoy running with other people. So it surprises me that you're maybe here volunteering to pace a marathon. But, yeah, maybe you want to elaborate on that.
I am definitely, my history, I guess, with running is probably more like by myself in the bush rather than on the road in big groups of people. I think I'm like, apart from UTMB, obviously, where there's like thousands of people there or over 1,000 people. I don't know. I'm trying to think like what the biggest run that I would have maybe, or UTA, like in Koombana, but like all trail runs. And so like once you go out, over like around the 100K mark, you might be by yourself for quite a while. I think the first 100-mile race I did, there was only about like 25 of us over like in Tumbarumba. And so, yeah, like literally out there with the Brumbies, and that was like a lot more of them than people around. So, and I guess even in Bunbury, there's I guess a few more runners out and about these days, but typically like you can do your morning hour run here and not see anyone. So yeah, it's and I've just not done a lot of the road marathons. Bustleton and Bunbury are the only, and Perth a long time ago. So yeah, just new to the roads and new to the crowds.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't hold it against you. Okay, guys. Well, maybe I guess one of the things that we kind of often talk about is carb loads. Now, obviously, you're not racing at your absolute capacity, so maybe the carb load might be slightly reduced. But what would you typically go to before you put a marathon in? Bryan, I was surprised to see in your response that you put in burritos. Hopefully it's not inspired by Shelby Houlihan. But what is it about burritos that you love so much, mate?
Oh, you can just pack so much into them, like so many good carbs, sweet potato, rice, wrapped in a wrap as well. So you're probably looking at a good 60 plus grams of carbs just from, a neat little packet that you can put into your vest or put in your shorts if you game. But I don't know, fits in your hand pretty nice as well. So it's just the perfect on the run fuel. But I mean, I didn't actually feel like eating any of them at Hurdy's. It was probably just a bit too dry. So try and get a bit of variety if you're doing a long run.
Yeah, nice. Hey, I noticed, Jake, that you and Noah both put Pop-Tarts down as your kind of primary source of carbs on the day before a race. Where does that obsession come from?
I'm not sure, actually. I might have got him onto them, actually, over the years. Pop-Tarts, yeah, they're really good. You can eat a lot of Pop-Tarts without feeling full, and they are not good for you, I'll tell you that much. I guess probably just come from scouring the aisles and seeing what you can eat the most of. Like, I don't know about everyone else, but I usually really look forward to the carb load because I try and eat pretty well throughout the block, and then quickly get sick of the carb load, like very quickly. So the Pop-Tarts go out the window. Days before, I usually try and eat like just sushi rice, pretty much, just as much sushi rice as I can handle. I remember actually when 2 years ago, whenever I ran Melbourne last, I got caught out in a pinch before the race, and I went down to the Japanese sushi shop, and I had to ask behind the counter just for the rice by itself, the sushi rice. There were not they didn't quite understand what I was saying at first, and why I would ask for just the sushi rice by itself, and then she just came out with, she'd actually went out back and rolled the sushi rice into seaweed rolls, like with no meat in them. So that was all right.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah, it was good service. But that's my typical go-to. But I do enjoy it. Yeah,
and a few soft drinks in there, I understand.
Yeah, Coke. Try and drink a lot of full sugar Coke. Don't ever drink full sugar Coke. So that was Noah and I last year before Sydney, sitting in our Airbnb, just 2 liters of Coke, trying to get through it. quickly get kind of sick of it. But I don't know how much carb loading I haven't really thought about it for this job, but I guess I don't want to be, I'd do it rather commit.
Yeah, totally, and pay the consequences later.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Joel, I think you described yourself as someone who's not built like a runner, because you're built like a brick shithouse. Let's be honest.
I'm probably a little bit heavier than most runners that try and run a bit quicker.
But mate, you said you eat like a sumo wrestler. What are you putting away the day before a race, mate?
Probably as much as I can. I often do that nearly every day, but most times before a race, you get a bit of Indian, a bit of curry in there or something, a couple of pizzas, and often try and get a couple of footlongs from Subway, and I'll try and eat one of them for breakfast the next day, 3:30 in the morning or something.
Nice, mate. I'm sure you and I probably have very similar diets in terms of how we prepare for a marathon by the sounds of it.
Just whatever you can get.
Yeah, exactly. Audie, mate, I know you said, well, maybe you can elaborate, but you said rice is basically life, I think was your response. But I did notice you had a bit of ABC sambal on the list. How does the sambal treat you in the morning?
I'm a big fan of chili. Any form of chili, whether it's chili sauce or crushed chili or fresh chili or anything. I don't eat the chili in the morning though. I eat the chili at lunch usually with rice or any protein. But after hearing Bryan, so I might have to try the burritos and then maybe just a sushi rice taking from Jake.
Yeah.
There's no special carb load for me because every day is carb load for me. Just double the portion. I think that's my strategy, and maybe match Joel for the portion.
Well, based on how tall you are relative to Joel, I think that might be tough work already. But we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, let's talk race kit. I noticed it's finally like when you ask these questions, people ask people the questions who are all strangers to one another and fun, and then, you pair them up. I mean, besides Jake and Noah, I suppose, who have got a kind of an existing friendship, and Vici and Bryan, I guess, to some extent. But it's amazing how the similarities between people who are pacing the same group seem to kind of identify. And what I noticed about the race kit was that, in particular, like Vici and Bryan both have this obsession with Adidas. Maybe Vici, you want to elaborate on that a little bit? Why Adidas is your go-to?
I think Adidas was my go-to. Adidas shoes were my go-to shoes when I lived in the UK, and then when I moved, just because they suited me for no other reason really. And then when I moved here, they were just harder to get hold of, so I had to flip through different brands, and I went to New Balance, and I've got Hockers, and now I've got Tarkines as well, and like a couple of pairs of Brooks, various other shoes. But I've always now I feel like Adidas have made a resurgence, and they're way more available now here than they were probably 10 years ago when I moved here. And I just think they look really nice, and for me, that's a good enough reason to buy shoes and running gear.
Amen.
So they suit me, I think. So actually just bought a new pair of Evo SLs that I took to work with me to wear on my run on the way home, and then walked out of work and it was pouring with rain, and they were so white and I was devastated.
Yeah.
But then by the time I got to Gallup, it was dry. So I was like, great. So they stayed white. But yeah, I like the gear. I like their running gear as well. I find it comfortable. I think they make, I've got a pair of shorts that are kind of like the T8s that have got loads of pockets in them and are really, really handy for gels and my phone and any other like Herdy's wraps I was taking out with me. I was taking a bag of chips out with me in my pocket, in my short pockets, and they were handy. I'll probably wear them for the marathon. Yeah, so.
Which Adidas's did you wear for Herdy's?
None, actually, none at all. And you know what? My feet were an absolute mess and still
Regrets.
are. Regrets, yeah. I wore Tarkines. No, actually, no offence to them, but I know, I can see, but no.
I'll just ignore that. Yeah.
Cut that, Chris.
For listeners, Joel is wearing a Tarkine hoodie, but no, it isn't the shoes. I don't know. I just didn't prepare my feet properly, and probably about, I don't know, lap 12 or so, my friend sent a message and she said, I've been looking at Phil Gore's social media and I can see that he does a lot of prep for his feet before he runs a backyard. And I was like, this would have been really helpful about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, no, I just got really bad blisters. So I did actually finish the race in Tarkines, but they were two sizes bigger than my original ones. Yeah, so no, I didn't wear Adidas. And I probably wouldn't have done.
Which ones do you wear for race day, marathon race day?
Pro 3s. I wore the Eva Westels in Sydney actually, and they didn't go too well either.
You done the Pro 4s?
I haven't got any Pro 4s yet, no. No.
They have me Achilles issues.
Did they?
And a lot of people I know, if anyone's thinking about buying.
Yeah. No, I've run a couple of marathons in the Pro 3s and they've been fine. So I might throw them back on.
It's what you know best, yeah.
How about you, Bryan? I mean, beside the physio telling you to wear Boston 12s at Backyard Ultra, why else do you like the Adidas, mate?
Oh, it's just a clean look, I reckon. I think I wore a lot of Adidas when I was playing soccer and then just transitioned them into the running world. I was a bit of a skate rat as a teenager and I thought they had a pretty good team. So I was just a big fanboy since back then. Do actually have a bit of a clip from other brands, but yeah, I mean, just like a classic pair of white Adidas with a black stripe on them. It's just a clean look. Like they're not trying to overdo it like some of these other brands like Hoka putting out like rainbow shoes and stuff. It's not really my cup of tea, but yeah, all power to you if you want to have a bit of flair. But no, I like to kind of just keep it pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, no, that's all fair and well. Another pairing that I noticed had similar answers were Ash and Audie, and so the question was like, what's your favorite race kit? And both of you seem to have a penchant for saving $1. So, Ash, you mentioned that you went to Rebel Sport and bought kids' clothes, and Audie does anything to get or find the bottom dollar choice. So, maybe Audie, I think you can tell us what you'll be wearing on race day, which I think you and I might have discussed last week.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I mean, I usually wear just short sleeve shirt and came out short during any run, which I do. I don't own any tights or some expensive top. What is it called? The saw or whatever it is. Yeah, just like to dress something simple. Maybe for the pacing kick, we have the singlet. Yeah, I'll wear it, so I can go matching with Ritto and everyone else. It'll look good on everyone.
How about the shoes, mate? I think there's a maybe a brand that no one else will be wearing on race day.
Oh yeah, when I went to Indonesia a few years ago, I bought this local brand. It's called Haze Pro. It was carbon plated. It was reasonable price. I think it was around $140, but it suits me because it was wide fitting. So it's I have wide fit anyway. So when I try to put it on, it fits really good. So I bought it and then tried to run with it here, and then it never let me down. So I actually wore it with you, Chris, during the PRF last year. So I was really impressed given the price and the quality. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. So far it hasn't let me down yet. So we will see what happens next week if I wear it or not, or if I wear different shoes.
Yeah, I think it's just going to show that there's a lot of brands, and I think people bringing this to light are probably people like Jack Crago, who's kind of sourcing all these shoes from over in China. Trying all these brands that a lot of Western people haven't necessarily heard of, and yeah. I think it's awesome that there's other options out there. And in my recent trip to Singapore, I saw a whole bunch of brands that had no real affinity with prior, but it seems that there's heaps of things changing throughout the shoe industry, given how big running is at the moment. So that's awesome to see. Ash, buying kids' clothes is probably a benefit of being on the smaller side, but. When did you discover that you could do that?
Well, it actually goes one step further because my husband, he also has a part-time job at BCF. So we have a family discount at BCF and Rebel Sport and MacPack. So it's worse than that. So I get the family discount on the kids' clothes. Nice. And I don't think I've ever bought a pair of shoes full price in my life. It's just, there's no way I could part with that amount of money for a pair of shoes when they're going to be on sale.
Inevitably, exactly.
Just a tight ass.
I'm in the same boat as you, so I can't point the finger. Joel, I think here, in terms of anyone here, mate, you, as Vicky pointed out, maybe haphazardly, you are a Tarkine athlete. Maybe you want to take us through how that arrangement came about, and I guess there's a lot of interesting things happening in the background for Tarkine at the moment, which I understand. I think I saw Sam Bourke out on the road a couple of weeks ago wearing what looked like a prototype shoe. What are you going to be wearing? Or maybe you can tell us about Tarkine and then maybe what you're going to be wearing on race day.
Yeah, I guess with Tarkine, I had done a few races last year, podiumed in them, and then doing Delirious and winning that, and then breaking Phil's record. I messaged Sam and kind of gave him a few races that I'd done all right in and pestered him for a couple of weeks, and he gave me some shoes and joined the brand that way.
Nice. And have you been testing any of these prototypes that I saw on Sam? Or
with the prototypes, I've got quite a large foot, so they often don't ship those sizes in just yet. So I have messaged him about them too, but I'll be there's a couple of shoes coming out shortly, and hopefully I can trial a couple of them.
Awesome,
and,
mate.
Yeah, for race day, I don't know if I am going to wear the autopilots or if I do put on a carbon shoe. I did just order a new one, so hopefully that arrives in time.
Magic. Well, so that run you did, that 36K run you did on the weekend, that was in a pair of autopilots, is that right?
No, that one wasn't. That was in a pair of Puma DV8 Elites. Okay. Yeah.
That's going at a reasonable clip in a pair of autopilots. So, I thought that'd be amazing. But no, they're good stuff, mate. I'm excited to see what these shoes look like because, Simon and I got the opportunity to look at them well over a year ago now, like the kind of the molds for them. It's exciting times for Tarkine for sure. Now, one of the big things for Bunbury, I guess the attractions is that you can bring your own drinks on race day and have them set out at select aid stations throughout the course, which is amazing. Really helpful if you're running your first marathon or you're a more experienced runner too, trying to break a PB. I noticed Noah is a big fan of Bix in his responses to me. Jake, is that any influence from the podcast or yourself, or is he been following Vlad along journey over the last few years?
He's been in it for a while now. Actually, he probably got me onto it. If anything, I think he considers himself a bit of a Vlad Junior. You know, he looks up to Vlad a little bit. He loves the trails. I actually think he just really got onto them initially because he heard they were giving away free hats with orders. So he's racked up pretty similar to me actually. He's racked up I've probably got every Bix hat there is.
Beautiful.
I lost one at Hurdy's last year and had to message Vlad for a replacement. Yeah, he and I love Bics. It's I am a bit of a sweater, so that sodium in the gels was a game changer for me. Really, I used to take like Precisions and take salt capsules while I was, and that was just annoying. You drop them, or just a pain to take a tablet while you're running at marathon pace, I guess. So yeah, the addition of the sodium is it's definitely beneficial. I'm just struggling to get as many down as I need to at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you would always love more. Joel, I think I noticed on one of your races relatively recently, you tagged Infinite Nutrition. So are you like an athlete for them, or do they support you in some way?
Yeah, they are partly sponsored with them too for my nutrition and carb mixes. So I do a custom blend with them and get about 120 grams of carb in on the hour. I've trained pretty well. I can get up to about 150 an hour. That's just all through liquid. I don't need any gels. So that's pretty good.
Crikey Moses, that's a lot of carbs and a lot of liquid.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I was practicing it. I'd drink a bit after dinner every night, and when I used to take gels, I'd take them with dinner, and it was taking 8 or 9 a race. But yeah, found these guys, and I get 1,000 milligrams of sodium in each serve as well, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, cool. So how much liquid are you going through an hour for your 120 to 150 grams? Like?
Yeah, that's just in 500 mil. I'll put 120 grams in.
Wow, so that's sweet, hey?
Like syrup.
Yeah. It is sweet sometimes, especially after a few hours of running. It's good to wash it down with a bit of water, just straight water. But no, it goes pretty well.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, it goes to show gut training can do just about anything, eh?
All that food I eat.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Do you do just fluids, Joel, on your run?
Yeah, when I did the backyard, I was doing every 3 hours. I'd have a proper meal, and then it was fluids between them with a few snacks and that. And then for delirious, that whole 21 hours was just liquids, pretty much.
Oh. Impressive.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Audie, mate, I think of anyone I know, I mean, I've probably said this already, you've got some curious habits, and bringing Turkish delights on the trail has been a kind of a highlight of mine, watching you eat those while we go for a run. What are you going to be taking in for Bunbury?
I think I'm going to take couple of Turkish delights with me. I think that works well, but not too many, because we found out last year when we did the PRF that the snakes that Matt merrily gave us during the marathon, that was actually really good. So I might throw in some snakes next week or next weekend for the Bunbury. And then for the drinks, Pop Tops is my go-to drinks. The blackcurrant flavor, it's cheap, it does the job well, and it powers me through any run. So I'll be having Pop Tops in a soft flask and some Turkish delights. Yeah,
nice, mate. Do you think you'll set up some Pop Tops on the drinks tables that'll be available?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll be setting up some Pop Tops, although some spectators, some kids might take it because they might think it's for them. But I'll be setting up some. I'll take use the advantage of the drink station. Set up the drink and then drink some drinks there.
Beauty. Well, I mean, it goes to show there's just lots of different ways to do things, and I think the beauty of, we talk about this so much in this podcast, and we have talked about it a lot on the training series, but I think it's really valuable for listeners to kind of hear different approaches, and Joel taking 150 grams and 500 mils of water is probably one of the highest I've heard, and then then you've got someone like Audwin taking Turkish delights, and I think whatever works for you, I think is really important. There's no right way to do it as long as you're getting the fuel in, and I think that's all that matters. I guess we're kind of coming to the end here, guys, but I just wanted to understand what we talk about here on Warp is we have these weapons of Warp, and each week we talk about people that get up to really unusual things on their weekly long run. Some of it's borderline criminal behaviour. Some of it's attributed to minor mental illness. But like always, it's we hope that it is something that is attributed to running and bringing positivity to running. Bryan, I'm going to talk about your worship of Yokine Reserve. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, mate?
Oh, it's just a great park. It's pretty close to my place. So, yeah, I love cutting laps around that. I think when I was on like a Sydney training block, I was there probably every day of the week doing a recovery, doing the intervals, doing thresholds. Yeah, I don't know, you start to see the same people all the time, and yeah, it does drive you a bit insane, but I don't know, nice to see the dogs, lots of trees, you got that city skyline. So, yeah, I mean, why change it if it's not broken?
Exactly, mate. Do you on your kind of many laps of Yokine, have you over time started to get to know some of these locals that you bump into, whether they're walking their dogs or also going for a run? Or
haven't got to know them personally, but I actually did meet a guy at Gavaround last year at the footy. And it's like, oh mate, you look familiar. You cut laps at Yokine. He's like, oh yeah, I know you. And yeah, had a chat and a beer, and still say good day to him every time I see him now. But no, I haven't actually met anyone else by name or shook hands or anything. But yeah, start to see him around at races, so maybe I'll say good day next time if I see him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just that seeing those familiar faces and just a wave or whatever it might be. Those things are really kind of small things that make those places that you choose to run special. And I find similar things around where I run. Jake, tell us about the Imodium addiction, and I assume it's relating to the toilet breaks, but yeah.
Nah, I was racking my brain for what to put there, really, guys. There's a lot of things that normal people would find strange or unhinged about my running, but nothing interesting enough for probably what everyone in this chat or listening would probably consider normal behavior, like shoes and the like. But yeah, I've always had gut problems running. Like I said, I had to stop at Sydney last year, so I've tried all sorts. And the one cure is just a lot of Imodium, like the night before. So that'll be me the night before Bunbury, and apologies if I have to duck out and join back up. But Noah's he's a stomach of steel. He'll be right. He'll hold down the fort in my absence if that's the case. But yeah, that's why I was asking about the carbs with Joel, because I've been trying, because I'm doing margs. Noah and I are both doing margs. I've been trying and get my numbers up, and not having a good time with it.
I got to bring over some Infinite, and you can try that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Might solve all my problems.
No worries.
Hey, Joel, while we're on you, mate, like I think you and I talked about maybe getting a tattoo after the end of this race, which is slightly deranged behaviour after a marathon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm dead keen. I 100% I'm in, but in my experience of getting tattoos, the worst possible time to do that is when you're severely dehydrated and hungry. So when are we going to get it done?
I have actually got a lot of mine done the day before a race or the week before. I think when I raced Transcend one year, I just got my chest done and then, raced that and just completely on my shoulder there, just running with the arms. It completely cut it open and it's scarred over now. But yeah, we're going to have to book it in for some point, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you getting a tattoo of?
We're going to get the Checkered Bastard, the tower with the wording underneath, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be classic.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think Simon's pretty keen too, Joel. So
you better jump on the 3-hour bus.
Yeah.
Better call the local Bunbury tattoo artist. Let them know.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, Ritto, any leads there, mate, or what?
You're asking someone that has no tattoos, so maybe not the best person, but I can ask. I can ask around town because there's not a shortage of people with tattoos in Bunbury, so I'm sure we can find somewhere that's open on a Sunday.
Can we get a buy 10 get 2 free deal or something? We'll all get one.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
I've got a mate with a gun if you guys wanted to do each other.
Halfway through the race, we'll plan something.
It's awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm working at the massage tent after the race, so we could just set up the tat stall next to the massage tent.
I'm sure Ian and Megan would love that. Yeah. Very good. I'll touch on one more. Audie, do you want to tell us about your obsession with signing up for Pyongyang Marathon?
I always I'm looking for somewhere exotic, if you can say that, somewhere that not many people go to. I don't like doing the same race twice. So when I'm doing Bunbury this coming or next week, it's exciting for me because I haven't done it before. So last year I was looking at places that I haven't been to, and then I don't know how, but somehow Pyongyang came up. So I decided to dig more into it and then try to get more information and the ticket and stuff like that. I even got my wife to have a look at it, but then in the end it's no good. I think my family is not ready to move on without me yet. So yeah.
Yeah, mate. You're a braver soul than I am, that's for sure.
Actually, the Pyongyang Marathon this year got cancelled. It got cancelled about a few weeks ago. So a mate of mine from work, he was looking at it with me, and then we got the same email at the same time. It got cancelled. So I think it's I don't know if you call it blessing in disguise or disaster, but none of us are going. And then they said they didn't disclose the reason why it got cancelled. So that's something starts happening there, because I think got cancelled at the same time the war was taking place. So maybe something's going on there.
Yeah, I guess for anyone that doesn't know, North Pyongyang is North Korea, and the ballot for this race is what, like 100 or 150 people, right, Audie?
Yeah, I think there was only around that. I'm not sure how many, but I think not many, only 100, 150 out of 5,000 who applied. So your chance is really, really low.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. The 2027 edition of the Pyongyang Marathon is going ahead, and you'll be on the start line once you convince Steph. That's a possibility, guys. We've been going for an hour and 15. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Really appreciate your time. I guess next time we chat, we'll be on the start line of the Three Waters Running Festival. On behalf of the Bunbury Runners Club and us here at Warp, thanks for kind of volunteering to drive your respective buses. You're an absolute bunch of legends, and you're obviously going to be helping a bunch of strangers achieve their running goals. So it's no mean feat. For those of you who've not run the course before, you're in for an absolute treat. The event's going to blow you away. It's a beautiful place, beautiful event, and the people there are really special. Listeners, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us at WA Running Pod on Instagram. Our email is warunningpodcast@gmail.com. Our Strava group is Warp. Happy running, everybody. Good luck for race day, and look forward to hearing about how it all went next time on the road to the Checkered Bastard. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris.
Good luck, everyone.